All right, can everybody hear me now? I see little green things. Those dots gotta be acknowledged. I don't know. You know what's crazy? I don't know what I did. If it works now, I'm not really sure what I did. There wasn't much that I could change though, so I don't know. Although man, all right. Okay, let me know if people can hear me. I'm pretty sure that I can be heard. I can see the green dots moving. So unless now the green dots are lying to me. Oh man. All right. Man, I had to do something new to it that I never did before. So it's hard to figure out what's wrong when you do everything the same way every time. You know what I mean? Um, Again, I'm going to be here. Thank you, King. I'm going to be here on this live until 6:45 Eastern Standard Time. So that's about an hour and 20 minutes, a little over an hour and 20 minutes. And then I'm going to be on the Let's Get Activated podcast. I think I'll find that link. That way, if you want to keep hanging out with Sunez, you know what I mean? We could do that. You know what I mean? But let's see what we can build. Last week I had a little technical difficulty too, and it just went out, and I couldn't figure it out. Yeah, and I couldn't figure it out last week either. It was crazy as I was talking about politics and how it's all scam, and I got into the idea of of what was it? Shadow banning and all of that stuff, and then it goes out. You know what I mean? That's crazy. That's just crazy right there. But I'm gonna share the link. Again, this is not part of the classes. This is my own life. You know what I mean? Yeah. So this is the Let's Get Activated podcast. You know what I mean? Um, Great journalist. You know what I'm saying? Um, really has a real diversity. I always measure a good music journalist though when they have a lot of different kinds of people, and people like her, my man Ty at Hip Hop Gems TV. They really dig. They really dig. You know what I mean? So that's nice. But it should be working now. So I'll wait a little bit for people to come in, and we can build and about anything. All right. Okay. All right. Just waiting a little bit for people to come in. And ask me. Whatever. Anything that you want to build on. We'll build as we go along and stuff too. So. All right. King, you said today's math is knowledge born, all being born to knowledge add on cipher. You are the foundation, the knowledge to add the foundation of completion. Knowledge of who you are affects all around you. Knowledge of who you are affects all around you. The things I know are what I'm acting upon, whether I care for it or not, even if you contradict it or not, they become part of someone's uh, moving insight, their moving understanding, and that it gets expressed as their culture. Right? You say you are responsible for your own justice and reward. That's peace. That's peace. It's quiet here in the school today. All you're hearing is the screeching of my chair here. Peace, divine mind. King, you said it can also be a penalty if you don't share it with those who need it. You will suffer a true penalty. I think this is really where the judge is very difficult. If you could have helped someone who didn't know what you knew, you know, and I say this to the early student. You don't always know when to say things, and then you might say things that are too much, um, too out front, um, not really useful. So like when you get this knowledge in the beginning, um, it takes time to be able to figure out when and what to say. Uh, you know, and the gauge is always not really to say what you've learned and what you find most important. The gauge is always, and this never ends. The gauge is always, what does that person need? You can figure out what people need. You know what I mean? Figure out what they need to the best of your ability, because it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that where you speak to somebody and you just immediately know what they need. Sometimes people will tell you, and this is obviously an experience in the classroom that I have all the time. Um, we gauge, I gauge a student, so they tell me what they think is complete. What is a complete synopsis of their reality? What they're learning, what they've been doing, what they've been working at, striving for, succeeding at, failing at. And it sounds like a lot, right? But if you teach students for a long time, you have people that you're around, you want to probe as much as you can. And remember, with that probing comes sharing as well, you know? And that's where, it's intimate and it's very sincere, you know? I'm just having mad problems with technology today. Like, you think something's charging, but the cord is not really charging. You know what I mean? It's giving you a 15-hour charge because you didn't plug it in right, or it just falls out. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of day I'm having, with technology. In reply to your add-on, wouldn't that be where compassion comes in? If one of the elements of Allah, us personality, is to not only be beneficent but merciful. Oh yeah, yeah. But it's something that's learned though, because um, you don't want to overburden people. You know what I mean? In my time, there's a lot of times where I send people away. Like I build, and sometimes it could keep going and going, but I finish. And I finish the build, even if it might even seem awkward, I finish the build when I feel to it that it is enough. And the way I intuit that is because of experience. I know what might be overwhelming. If you notice when I teach others, and I'm being filmed here and I'm teaching others here, especially when they're new to this, there's a lot of pausing. There's a lot of pauses for like, so they could take things in, think about what was said, see what they absorbed. People don't take notes like they used to. You know what I'm saying? At all. So they may not be conscious what they're drawing. Like if you take a class, right? Even if you're this is the class you're taking, you should be taking notes. Not because, in this case, not because it's not cataloged, or the fear that it could be deleted, which is always a reality, right? I could always, you know, lose the I could always lose the stream or whatever, or the video, or delete it accidentally. But a lot of times when you take notes, you're taking note of what you think is most important, and sometimes that's good to. And you need to be aware of what you find most important. What about all the things the instructor said that I found to be most important, though, the things that I want to take down, the things that if I want to remember immediately, these are the things. So it's important to just practice that. You know, practice that. If you're a student in college and you're recording a lecture, you still want to take notes, because uh, taking classes though takes a lot of work. And once you record a lecture, just like this one, you have to go back. And going back means that you took time to go back. But sometimes in the course of many assignments and many classes, you're not going to be able to go back. Sometimes you're stuck at your notes and what you read. You know what you remember out of what you read. All right. Um, Divine, you said knowing what to dial it back is important. Yeah, yeah. I want to say that among good brothers and elders that I learned with, overload was always a thing. There were some elders that I knew, like Freedom, certainly, definitely Firstborn Prince. They would end it. They would end it and send you off. You know, and I think that's why some people sometimes saw it meaner, because they want to be taught, and then they want to be coddled for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like in other words, I gave you this because I care, and this and that. He would just teach you, and when he gave you enough, it's on your way. It's time to go. You know, and that's Peace King, yeah. And I'm saying, like, let's think about our time. We may not have time to go through the whole lecture again. You know what I mean? So I do this a lot, though. I have a lot of in my Google documents. I have a lot of them. I have, like, I have a thoughts document, but I also have creative documents where I just get creative ideas and thoughts and throw them in there, right? For stuff that me and King are doing, or I'm doing by myself, right? But yeah, it's okay to stop things and take notes. I'm saying that as someone that spends a lot of time absorbing lots of information. You know what I mean? Um, and who refuses to stop absorbing information. I don't really like to. I don't like, and I don't slow it down. There's very rarely moments where I say I've absorbed too much, though it's time to chill. Um, when I'm done reading, if I have time and there's days that I'm reading, um, I stop reading when I just can't function anymore. Like I do a lot of things to failure that I find that are healthy. I tend to do things to failure. That's right, God. Yeah, yeah. And that's what they're for, because A lot of those understandings that I share with you, I didn't share with anybody else. You know what I mean? So that's important. You know, we got to know how to engage the youth, though. And sometimes we only engage the youth or engage others if we get credit as being the God that engaged them. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. You know, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. You know, my apologies for the squeaks. This wonderfully comfortable stool is squeaking on me. And I'm moving a lot because there's a fly who keeps bothering me. But and obviously a mosquito because I have a mosquito bite. So it's not just a fly, but there must be a mosquito bite. But today's mathematics, knowledge born. You know what I mean? Um, a lot of times, the ease of looking back at what you learn and what you don't learn is the concept of knowledge born. You know, what information are you studying? Are you delving into that is really seeing a dividend? You know what I mean? What's being brought to born? What is, I like to say, born elevated fulfillment? What knowledge is really being used fully? This is something to take note as well. You know, definitely. You know, you know, with the 85, peace guy, they're not really gonna take notes. So you want to, you know, the power of the gods in the earth's building, especially the gods out on the street, is because they use supreme mathematics to build mantras, small sayings of understanding that stick with individuals. This is why we build with the day's mathematics, so people keep hearing a jewel each and every day, you know? So it's important, you know, it's important, right? Um, you said, I'm glad I've spent more time with what I learned around those who didn't have the knowledge because it taught me how to have compassion, keeping it simple, and never go. You know, it's interesting. The concept that you talk about is something that Buddhists talk about too. They call it equanimity. Equanimity is to be able to see all people for what they are and have a compassion toward them, but not a compassion that is irrational. I give you the best, easiest example in our modern day world and city life is, let's say you got $100 in your pocket and you see you see a homeless person peddling for money and food. You don't just give him your $100 though. That would be a lack of equanimity. The truth is, you don't know what he will do with it. Um, but if you give him a couple of bucks, it's logical. If you gave him the 100, it would be better if you walked him through it. Say, listen, what do you need? I'm going to get you this, and I'm going to get you $100 worth of what you need. Um, you know, if we were doing that, right? So equanimity is about that compassion, but without the emotion carrying us away, right? If I could say it that way, you know, that's really what it is, right? Yeah. But every time we look at the mathematics, though, you know what's interesting is that when we deal with I always break up everything in three parts. How I lead off a fury, and there's something often, not all the time, not every month, but a lot of times, some months happen where I just start off the month doing something different. You know what I'm saying? And I would say particular things in my training I started differently. You know, in this month because um, and it makes sense because now this upcoming week I'm going back to schools to teach. You know what I mean? So I like to be extra on point with the children. You know what I mean? Just not because they fight or anything like that. In fact, I'm excited. So far, so far, all the grades I'm dealing with are elementary and real low grades. So it's it's not physically challenging, but it's emotionally challenging in a good way. First grade, second grade, third grade, fifth grade. So, you know what I mean. So I'm dealing with a lot of small children. So it's not physically demanding in that way, but you gotta have endurance though, because they have beautiful energy. You know what I mean? But you gotta equanimity is the thing, because all the children are adorable. All the children will asking for things. So you have to have your equanimity. You know what I mean? And just get it in a more positive way, dealing with really, really young children. You know what I mean? And so equanimity is to be compassionate toward them, but still, pushing them so they could do their work and be in line and be disciplined and stuff. You know what I mean? Because sometimes the kids. What's funny is that I don't know if other people find this way, but when I deal with children and I teach children in large amounts, and I have two daughters that my youngest is 11, so we still at that level. My old one too, my grown up too, man. But where a lot of the fun we have is mischief. Not like dangerous things, but we might run around in a store or something like that. You know what I mean? And do stuff. But children are infectious though. So once they get a vibe to play, though, it even is infectious to the instructor. And so equanimity is crucial. When you're dealing with older kids in the street and stuff, and you're trying to teach them and stuff like that. Understand the sway of emotion to them, though, is to not care. Middle school, well, like those grades, not to care. I find that in high school grades, those ages, it's not that they don't care. It's just that they feel it's too late. And that's, they start to feel that it's too late. These horrible teachers and principals and guidance counselors, they've not prepared them for the world. And the school year, especially the seniors I've seen in high school, almost like that's it. You know what I mean? Because like I'm not a great ball player. I didn't become great at this. There's no prospects of me being a superstar singer, entertainer of any kind. Whatever I did on this YouTube page or my TikTok isn't doing it. So as we're done, and it's sad that a fatalism infects them in high school. So this is something that I work with the older kids to get rid of, because as a kid I felt it too, because I wanted to be a professional athlete. You know what I mean? And just show you how crazy it sounds. It wasn't baseball, which is probably where I could have been. It wasn't wrestling, where I was. For my height and weight, though, the wrestling coach in my high school wanted me to be a wrestler really bad, but I just didn't like the sport, and I didn't want to jump on then. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way it was made fun of. So I was like, nah, hey yo, you know what I mean? But it probably would have helped me today with the insight in my martial arts. But yeah, that's what it was. But once your prospects of who you want to be, you know what I'm saying? I see, and there's so much more. They never tried or had the possibility to make their own music. They never tried the possibility of writing and publishing a book, which is very possible. You know what I'm saying? All of these things, you know what I mean? So like, it's important that now with all the technology that we use it to show kids all the things that they can do. You know what I mean? King, you said it. It sounds like the Bible scripture that says, "Be all things to all me." I've added balance and said, "Be all things to all men, women, without compromising my foundation." Yeah. That's also in the Haggakuri. I'm gonna write this down. Right? The Haggakuri, right? The way, which I have this book. If anybody wants it digitally, I can email it to you. Right? I'm gonna put my email down there. And my email is always in the description of the video. So, but the boy, I'm forgetting the name of the author. Let me quickly look up the name of the author. Anyway, that's the book Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai. This is the book that they're quoting throughout, and the model by which the character of Forrest Whitaker becomes a samurai. You know what I mean? Yamamoto Tsunotomo. Um, there's a passage there that is also quoted in the movie that says, I'm paraphrasing very badly. I haven't read this book. I read it like 2 or 3 times. I haven't read it in years. I really enjoyed because, and I'll tell you why I enjoy it so much. But um, the way of the samurai is to be able to look at all things and look at all things and still be more and more in accord with his own. You know what I mean? Um, what that means, though, the samurai was always about pinpoint. They're going to see a lot of cultures, but always be the variant warrior that is totally different than the rest of the population. So even though he sees things that are wonderful, you see the wonderful life that people live, the own retainer that you have, like in samurai culture, the retainer is who you defend and who you're bound to, right? Because remember, Ronin are ones without a retainer, and they're like left to roam or expecting to commit seppuku, right? To kill honorable ritualistic suicide. Um, so, you know, they were able to see all these cultures that might be intriguing to them, but they hold steadfast to the way, you know what I mean? And that's something in the way that samurai. Now, obviously, the reason I love the way of the samurai is because that I read that book because of the movie, and that movie with Riz's score and soundtrack, especially the score, it all blew me away. And the gods, this is around 2000, the gods had invited me in the summer to train. And I had told them, like, I don't know about that kicking stuff. That's literally what I said. And, but they, they always had the offer open for me to build with them. And, eventually, after I saw the movie, I just, I'm one for writing and literature and philosophy, you know, and the philosophical outlook is really the framework by which I teach this. If you don't know that by now, you have been catching these builds all these years here. And so when I saw the movie and a samurai in an urban setting, a main theme of the Ghost Dog movie was the oneness of the original people, even as they do seemingly totally different things, that they were all quite similar in the culture. So, that was something that P.E.A.C.E, that really appealed to me, along with the trading, which and everything. And I love this lifestyle. I said, I'm not in the shape I want to be, and I don't have a reason to be in the shape that I would like to be obsessively. It's not me to train obsessively in a gym. I never would be that person if it was just for looking suitable. That is certainly a goal all the time. I want to look good in my clothing and without it, right? But I don't think I wouldn't be motivated if it wasn't for a deeper purpose. And not being a sports athlete of any kind, and it wasn't, just playing for fun felt like a waste. Um, Especially when I was dealing with this knowledge, teaching, and I said, "Yo, this is the perfect lifestyle that'll keep me in shape, and it'll always be useful. It'll always be useful. I have a child I'm about to have, and eventually two, so." Right? Protect the women that I'm ever with, right? It'll always be useful, you know? So that Ghost Dog became a real score, So I spent the money to get the score. Of course, we bought the soundtrack, which is very good. It's a very underrated album. There's so many things RZA did that's underrated. That from 1998 onward, um, that soundtrack is certainly one of them. Um, but the score even more so. It was amazing. But back then you had to get it on import, and I paid like $30 to have it mailed to me as an import CD. Great album, classic score to me. Smells this. Taking an enemy on the battlefield. I gotta say it like Forrest Whitaker. Taking an enemy on the battlefield is like a hawk taking a bird. Even though it enters into the midst of 1,000 of them, it gives no attention to any bird than the one it first marked. Yeah, that's another one though, but it talks about the focused. So I love that movie. I watched that movie with my twin brother, and just like many times before that got me to get this knowledge, I was talking crazy after the movie. And I was like, the gods, they invited me to do Kung Fu. I got to go do it now. Look, this movie showed me I got to go do Kung Fu with the gods. You know what I mean? That was me after I saw the movie. My brother was like, man, it was a really good movie. And, you ain't doing nothing. But, yeah, you know. But, so, yeah, for sure. That was a good song too. It was such creativity. RZA has mine with Willie Mitchell, the producer. He did Ann Peebles, Al Green, Syl Johnson's albums, right? Is It Because I'm Black for Hollow Bones, which by the way was used first time I ever heard it used was by Muggs. But there was so much that he mined in there. The way he used that Al Green, I forget the name of the song. It's one of Al Green's most beautiful ballads. I have to look it up for you. I cannot let it pass. I'll first tell you the sample that I'm talking about, the Al Green song. Yeah. From the I think his greatest album, I'm Still in Love with You, 1972. There's a song on there called Simply Beautiful. And then the Ghost Dog soundtrack, there's a reggae song that samples that amazingly. You know, what's the name of the song? Yeah, Don't Test Wu Stallion by Sugar Bang Bang. He never really made albums. I like this style. I definitely like this style. But yeah, Strange Eyes keep the Hollow Bone samples on the Wu Iron Flag. No, not on the Wu Iron Flag. Not on the Wu Iron Flag. The W album, and I will never forget that because I'm a Wu head, but also King because I was at November, the week before Thanksgiving, Tuesday before Thanksgiving, 2000. No, in November 2000. Um, the W release party. That was the release party where they performed almost a lot of the songs, at least the first 7 from the album, the W. And when Ghostface did Hollow Bones and he did his verse, he had the robe on. He kneeled down. He goes, "Why they gave you these privileges?" And they put the robe on. He was on the knees and he goes, "Why they gave you these privileges?" And they put the robe on. And this Ghost is still incredible, but that was his peak, when he just threw all word structure out of the window. He just would say so many dynamic things, you know what I mean? But that was also the most memorable was when they did Brooklyn Zoo. I thought it would be a sing along as I'm on the balcony. I think it was Roseland Ballroom. I'm in Roseland Ballroom. That's right. I'm in the balcony of Roseland Ballroom, and where the media is, and I'm in the front. And I think all the other Old Dirty's locked up in the mental institution. And so we think we're just going to do a sing along, or maybe the other guys will rap it along, take turns. The 8 guys split open, and Old Dirty pops out. He had escaped. No one knew, but he had escaped the mental institution. And he goes, I'm the one man Army A son. I never been taken out. I keep MCs. I almost fell off the balcony, man. Short balcony. You know what I mean? Short balcony. You know? I lost it. I almost fell off the balcony, man. You know what I mean? It was amazing. You know what I mean? And the acoustics, I had been down in the front where I usually go, but the acoustics were actually better. You don't see it as good, of course, right? But I have my glasses, and the acoustics are so much better at that balcony in the Roseland Ballroom. You know what I mean? Golden, brass, diamond, and yeah, man. Raekwon and Ghost have such great word structure. You know, I say this though, but if you ever read the poetry of Miguel Piñero, you will find word structure. Not as many dynamic words, but the dynamic word structure in the same type of cadence in his poetry. Very influential to me, just like Raekwon is, you know. And it really was something, you know, that concert though. Yeah, feeding, yeah. And I heard you keep a yo. He did all of that, God, and they put the robe on him. I was also the next year in December. I was at the Iron Flag album release party. I was with the God Infinite Mind too, you know. And that one, you God put the robe on Ghostface. I think he did Ghost Dini. Remember, 2000, 2001 Ghostface is just unbelievable. Supreme Clientele, Bulletproof Wallets. Add up the verses that he had on the W and the Iron Flag. You know what I mean? Iron Flag is a very underrated album. It doesn't have verses that really stand out like, yo, these are amazing, but it has some really experimental beats. The thing about those albums, RZA put a lot of experiments on that. Some of them were very successful, like Let My Niggas Live, and especially the W album has a lot of great experiments. The Master Killer solo, One Blood, and was it Ja Rule? Ja something. I gotta get the name because I love the music on Ja World. I mean that music structure is amazing. You know, there fails like where they're just like Conditioner is just there. It's not really amazing, but there's stuff in there that's like unbelievable. You know what I mean? I don't think they were as lyrically exceptional the way they should have been, as far as content depth, but as far as structure and everything. But anyway, I digress. I got into this with the equanimity thing. You know what I mean? But if anybody wants the Hagakure, it's a very intriguing text. You know, very intriguing text. I haven't read it in years. RZA, you know, I had RZA under such because Will Forever is my favorite album of all time. So I had him under such like criticism that the Conditioner being a regular song, even though it has a really good drum on it, sequence too. The basic, very overused, really sample on "I Can't Go to Sleep." I was disappointed at first, though. You know what I mean? But if you notice, though, Ghost is wearing a hoodie, a Scully with the universal flag on it. Those flags came straight from parliaments because they was everywhere. Even I had one, and I very rarely bought anything. You know. Yeah, like these songs are so much more. The ones that are average, like Conditioner, you realize that they're so much better when you go back to them. You know, like we really were harsh on what we expected out of the whole Wu-Tang. because as far as a stylistic album, it's their best stylistic album, the W. Whereas the Iron Flag tries to keep it more hardcore, but it doesn't have the content, so it has a blandness to it. Even though there's a lot of great songs on there too, you know. Greatest group of all time. I'll have no one argue. I've never heard an argument against that I wasn't willing to take on that one. But anyway, how are we doing? How are we doing in saying it's September? I've been working vigorously to finish the books that I have. Certain obligations I've finished, so I could work on the second of the two books I'm trying to finish this year, um, and just getting it all done. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. So let me know. Let me know. I'm here until 6:45. Guy, you said King. You said the pretty Tony album was soulful. Sound like he was that homeboy that won't stop rapping here while the oldies playing in the car. That's funny. That's funny. Peace to the Guardian from Mega. Yeah, yeah. But again, I'm trying to do this earlier, like getting everything in tune, getting our ability to schedule things, a fury to continue to do things. You know what I mean? A lot of us that are older and we have children, everything that we may have gotten to in the summer, it's like it can't be scheduled while the children are in school and you're doing stuff. Or now we have time that the children are back in school, but you can't just get into it quickly enough, you know. So these are important things. You know what I mean? These are important things. Um, Finding time to do things. You know what I mean? Like I told you, there were so many wonderful things to do. Besides besides some of the work that we're trying to do. You know, but have a calendar, have checklists daily that you check off. Like my calendar has checklists that I check off. You know what I'm saying? And when I can't do certain things I expected, um, it's because something else was done that was useful. You know what I mean? And this is important to know. Very, very important. Now the guy got MC conditioner in my head. It's so funny. I don't even know what that means. But one thing that I learned, and I was I learned this again recently, is that a lot of time and a lot of energy, whether positive or negative, and so I was dealing with both, um, sharing and building can be exceptionally draining. And a lot of times people think that the way to get away from that, the way to deal with that is to get away from it. But I'm always cognizant of we need time away from always having to give. But then how do we, that doesn't necessarily mean that the time that you spend away from that is not supposed to be spent giving to yourself. You know what I mean? And I don't mean like pampering yourself, all that stuff you see on IG, self-love and all that, I'm not talking about that. Getting a massage, I'm not talking about that. Buying yourself something, I'm not. We keep talking about self-love, and it's just like basically justifiable hedonism or materialism. Sometimes for yourself, though, you need to refresh, reload by building yourself up. A lot of the worth that I have found in my life has been by building myself up to such a level. And I say this that a lot of people don't know this. For most of my life, people that were around me, especially loved ones, they're 85 and whatnot, always saw me as selfish. So when I'm in these ciphers and I share with people, understand that I had to be seen as selfish, though, as a person who's going to go listen to all this music, spend time writing and developing himself, spend time reading every single book he can, and forego other things to do that. Travel to meet other people, to build things, to learn. You know what I mean? Spend whole weekend days, a Saturday, Sunday, training, martially. Um, for much of my life, these things were are applauded by those who receive the gifts of when we share them. But when you go out to get things for yourself, this is what I mean by self-love. These things that will develop you, they are for me. I don't know if anyone will be able to learn them. And that's what the equanimity comes in, the compassion that has to be taken as equanimity, King, right? What we're talking about. Because I have to be aware that I can't just justify and feel not selfish and just throw it at everybody what I've learned. That I have to be aware that what I have learned may not be suitable for anybody until I spend the time in one of two cases, right? We make it the environment suitable for them to be able to take in this knowledge, right? That's one way, right? But that's also time consuming as well, and at times it can also be manipulative. You manipulate an environment though, so that way the people are more ready to learn something that you would like them to learn. Even with this knowledge of self, that could be done. So that kind of manipulation is something that needs to be also done the knowledge to. Right? This is also something that I of, for example, when someone walks into the classroom, it is my opportunity to tell them that the black man is God. That is the assumption, but that often can be not the best, not the best thing. You know what I mean? Just because someone walks here and you have an environment where it is most ideal to teach someone that the black man is God doesn't mean that this is the place to immediately say that. They need to learn. You need to learn of them. It is our job to do the analysis, see what they need, and then see what they can learn to get up to that civilization, righteousness, then the knowledge of self, right? Knowledge build degree, right? Yesterday's degree, right? Just as a side note, when people come to my classroom to be really sharp, their sharpness has to be for every degree that is of this week. Everything from Friday to this Thursday. You know what I mean? I would really test them on that, you know, and expect them to be able to build and to be open about all that. But yeah. Yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to share that. It's just things that come to my head. And so with all the stress that I dealt with, I didn't go back and pamper myself like, yo, let me find something in my twin brothers, incredible, I think it's about 2000 movie collection of 2000 digital movies that I have access to. Netflix, Disney, Max, Prime. Oh, geez, I gotta look at my phone. Hulu, Tubi, right? You can't forget Tubi. Pluto, which doesn't always work, by the way. Pluto doesn't always work, and they have Three's Company, and I love Three's Company, and I like but it is what it is. And I also, not I can't get it on my phone, but I also have access to Paramount when I'm at home. Ridiculous. I deserve it. I'm gonna lie down. I'm gonna watch stuff. And I didn't do that. I instead started to read more, started to write more furiously, and constructed a schedule where I knew in the future, when it was all completed, though, I would be more content, and it would be something for me that is delayed gratification in that sense. You know what I mean? This Old House. I don't think I'm watching that though, but yeah, yeah. My father remembered imperfection. My father used to watch a lot of old. Near the end of his life, he only watched old westerns programs. There used to be a lot of western programs, not just western films, movies, and especially the programs he would watch. You know what I mean? And I would spend some time watching it with him too. Some of them and stuff, and it was a way to harken back to times when he felt happy and blissful. And so I really dug that, you know what I mean? And with these apps and stuff, you could watch. Sometimes I'd be watching Cheers, Family Ties. What is it? Three's Company. When it works, when the thing works, right? Golden Girls. You know what I mean? I was watching some of Golden Girls years ago. My daughter bought me a giant mug of Golden Girls. I ended up breaking it after having it for like 4 years, 3 years, 3 years. But I'll be watching some of the others I can't watch though, like Martin, and I don't watch Martin. I don't watch Fresh Prince. I don't watch those because I remember them too well. I put them on and I remember everything. Like it can't even, you know what I mean? So it's not ready yet, I guess. You know what I mean? I tried to watch Martin all over again, but like there was not one episode where I was like, oh, I know, I remembered every last episode. When I started to watch it, it was like a karaoke effect. The Hulu RZA, yeah. The Hulu RZA, yeah. I never finished that. I didn't finish season 3. I actually worked as a in my one of the schools I'm at. For a while, I worked with a brother that he's an actor, and I ended up working with him as a colleague. He's a teaching artist, teaching drama. I was teaching martial arts, and he actually played Syl Johnson on the season 3, and I didn't get up to it though. I got to keep watching just to see the brother on it. Oh yeah. That the Peacock. I have that app too. Yeah, I got everything. Isn't that the one with Taraji on it? I still find Taraji absolutely gorgeous. So I'll be watching things with Taraji that don't interest me at all, and then I'm like, I don't know why I'm watching this. You know what I mean? Tulsa King. I have to get into that too. Yeah. What's the other show with the judge though? Because they put that on Netflix now, and I saw the first episode, and now I could get into it more easily. Because like I said, I can only watch. I don't know. It's a thing, but I can only watch Paramount when I'm at home. I can't watch it on. It doesn't. I can't access it on my phone. But so I can't really travel with or watch it comfortably in other rooms. Fight Night. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. Yeah. Your Honor. Yeah. I'm gonna check that out because that first episode was crazy. But yeah. I always try to watch programs that are insightful, fun. But at the same time, I will watch programs that my oldest daughter likes and that I find enjoyable, and we have a link. You know what I mean? Certain things I can't watch if I miss her. Like I don't watch anime when she's not around because I like watching it with her. You know what I mean? But because that's her thing. You know what I'm saying? You know, but that's not my trade. My trade is I'm a writer. You know what I mean? So when I have time to self care, I buckle down and get better at it. I make the training more intense. I add little daily moments of training. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. But I want you guys to have it in your head now. What do I want to finish? What do I want to do? You know what I mean? So at least even if we don't finish them, right? Me and the God King, we're working on stuff. We may not finish it by this year, but we certainly are going to catapult it to the next year with them. So the whole time we was working. Just because you see a release date doesn't mean it's a lot of work going up to it. So we're always creating, always keeping our minds fresh. You know what I mean? Always challenging ourselves. You know what I mean? To do something. But yeah, and I want you to because I want you to get it. If we weren't successful in what we wanted to do, I want us to think about how we could do that better, and not just let the randomness. A lot of days can be random because you just won't buckle down. You know, like I said, look, my 5x5 workout, right? Nonstop. Everything's to failure. So you'll take breaks because you're in failure. But 5 minutes push-ups, 5 minutes resistance bands and or free weights, light weights. Just to make it simple, light weights, meaning that 10 pounds is all you need. Resistance bands, all you need. 5 minutes squats, 5 minutes. I like to focus on weighted and non-weighted calf extensions, right? And then 5 minutes ab work. Keep switching it up. You know what I mean? Keep the abs strong. You know what I find is really great? I have a 35-pound kettlebell, and rotating the kettlebell, swinging it, flexing the abs, it has done wonders. Wonders for me. Along with I do a lot of pull down, so I have resistance bands hooked up where I'm pulling down, so I can do triceps. I literally can sit down and do shoulder pulls, for the shoulders, and what else I do in it? I can also kneel on my knees. I can do ab pull downs. Those are great too. Those are my favorite ab exercises. But look, 5 minutes till failure. These things. That's 25 minutes. You can't do it for what's 4 times 5? 20 minutes. Can't do it for 3 minutes, or it's just wasting mad time because you're just in failure most of it. Give you 3 minutes. What's that? 15-minute workout. Reduce it 2 minutes. Or you only got strength for 2 minutes. What's 2? 2 times 5, 10. You suck. You're at the beginning stage. 5 minutes. I'm telling you. You know what I mean? I add things to my 5x5 workout. Like I always do in my short workouts. I always do at least I always do lots of burpees. So over the week, I do I always do at least 250 burpees every week. So even in that short workout, I'll end the 5x5 with 25 burpees. But again, burpees. Everybody hates burpees, but that can give you a cardio push that takes almost no time because it gets you to failure fast. So what I'm saying is like we can schedule things and do them. You know what I mean? Like you get home before you shower, you're like, you know what? Before I shower, I'm gonna do this. If you can't work out a certain way, get them isometric. You want to get your legs strong? Horse stance. Isometric. Isometric meaning you're standing still in the horse stance. You know what I mean? It's hard. I can't really get the camera angle to show you a good horse stance. But even if you're not a martial artist, though, horse stance is very useful. You know what I mean? But you could do it. Lean your back on the wall straight. Perfect on the wall. Have your knees at a 90-degree angle. That'll be hard to do in that kind of horse stance, which I do. Is hard to do off the wall. But you could do it on the wall and see how long you can stay there. that also couples your failure. You know what I mean? You want to get to failure fast. You don't want to do 5 minutes of stuff. Everything could be done to failure intensely. You do your push-ups, they're too easy. Clap your push-ups though. Do the negatives, meaning go slow, slow, stop, slow, stop. Right? Squats are too easy, jump squats. Right? If you can, because I can't. My legs are really strong, but I never used to practice this. So you could do a pistol squat, right, which is super hard, right? All these kind of things. So there's all types of stuff that you could do. You know what I mean? All type of stuff that you could do. That's right. Yeah, we stay creating. You know what I mean? I just sent the guys something when I started to get back on it, though. You know what I mean? And I was like, I let things get in the way and got back on. I sent him a song, and I'm making something real hardcore. Like just, I don't want to use the word fun though, but I think it's fun. Like it's deep, but it's fun. You know what I'm saying? With true cipher beats. All right. Again, I'm going to be here for like another 20 minutes. You know what I mean? So a little over about 20 minutes. So anything you want to build on, but I'm very keen on getting a strong note. You're not quoting your degrees. Quote your degrees under stress, the duress of working out. Have time when you quote your degrees at home. You know what I'm saying? Quote degrees in the shower. You know what I mean? Quote degrees when you're walking. Start writing down. Use your journal. Get a journal. Start writing down your understanding. And if you don't have an understanding, muse, pontificate, speak about why you don't have an understanding. What is wrong with me that I don't have an understanding? But what is wrong? What is confusing about this that I don't have an understanding? Write about these things. Okay? Very important. Very important. I do that all the time. All right. I don't know if you've ever been to my Substack. So like me and Paragon, we're not doing Premiere Hip Hop anymore. We're doing other projects together. But I'm eventually gonna get all those articles from Premiere Hip Hop, the old ones. I gotta get that. But right now all my articles are on Substack. And I just wrote a review about that. Short answer, no, I don't like it. I thought it was disingenuous just to play around with the language like he really is down like that. There's nothing in his career where he's embedded the truth that there is no mystery God. Let's not even talk about who God is or who we teach that God is, man, the original man. But that there's no mystery, that there is no counter to the Christian Christmas, Thanksgiving, etc., holidays that anything that he's ever been in has advocated. As far as an actor, in his autobiography, this was something he felt to distance himself away from deliberately. And then all of a sudden, he's been down this whole time. Where? Because I'm in this. I don't know where. You know what I mean? So I found it disingenuous, though. You know what I mean? Um, I got enough videos online. Me and Dark Kim have enough videos online. You know, he could easily watch this. I have my books out. People could easily learn how to use this. Inf Mega's Allah School of Mecca channel. You could learn how to write the verse that he wrote without knowing any of this shit. So, you know, you know, but yeah, but where is the proof that he's not a Christian? You say he was a Christian for a long time. Where's the proof that he's just not a? He's just somebody saying it. He's not. He also said that he's down. He's down with Black Panthers and is in those ciphers and comfortable in them. And Huey in the chair. Where was this? Because when I would see Khalid Muhammad and stuff, I never saw him. You know what I mean? I know the rappers that gave to the school. I'm very much embedded in that. I know the rappers that gave to the school. He wasn't one of them. You know what I mean? To say at least like what he was doing, but he didn't want to deal with the politics and stuff. I get all that. But he wasn't one of them. He wasn't one of them that even could make the decision, excuse me, to not deal with something. You know? So again, my review is up there. There's a lot of things to pick apart on an album that it's a very unique album. Being it's a LL Q-Tip production, you know. That he has skills, that he has mishaps in those skills, that he, you know, sometimes sounds outdated, but was updating most on like praise him, right? But you know, we're talking now not about somebody whether they did the song good, it's whether the song content is worthwhile. And then for that kind of content, a whole 16 plus bars, no. Where are you building? Where are you building? Where are you building like this? Where are people subjected to some of the ideas here, you know? And that's subject to everybody. Like, I'm a big fan as what he was, and I love that he shares righteous things and is right. But it's the burdens on them, though, like a Carmelo Anthony, and like as an example to when he does his podcast now, right? I don't see no builds. I don't. So it doesn't mean that they're not. It just means like I don't know where people want to act like they've been with this though, because at least a person like Carmelo is wearing the flag at least, you know, for a long time, has connections to this nation. You know what I mean? So I don't see that, you know. And then you get what you get. So people have reverence for it, like a Common, and then they make Christian theology albums with the language that we have. You know, like I said, I got a lot of flack for UFO Feed and the Peace God video, but UFO Feed knows that the black man is God, and when with what he knows, he's not teaching kids that there's a mystery God. He's telling them to go into the study with the true and living gods and sending them here. And that's why I said, yo, man, the video was about the kid not paying attention. And his chorus was the vile mentality he had. And UFO Feed was the adult trying to talk sense to him. People didn't understand it. It was a little confusing because a third party did the chorus in the video, lip sync the chorus in the video. But the 85, the people that's targeted, they understood the video. They understood the contrast. You know what I mean? So it's like people get on things and stuff, and they're not even looking at what they get. People's like, oh, LL did this, yeah, or Common, he was this, and they're popular. They're really popular. But then Common gave a really dope album with Christian theology using our dialect. Peace to the God. There's a mystery God. Peace God. Peace God. You know what I mean? You know? LL Cool J, like, you wait for Christmas time. You wait for Thanksgiving. So when you're eating turkey and you're eating your shit and you're saying like, yo, I just been with family because I never see them, even though you're going to see them in 1 month, either New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve. You're gonna see them either in Christmas and Thanksgiving, but you or New Year's, but you only see them once a year. You know? All right, whatever. While you do that, you may find LL in these festivities being Christian. You know what I'm saying? Militancy, a lot of abstract militancy. As we get closer to the presidential election, I'm not saying he is. I'm saying let's see how militant it is. Or are we just gonna get a wrap the vote? Wrap the vote. Make sure you vote. This is LL Cool J. Don't be a dope. Go out and vote. You know what I mean? While they vote for Kamala, right? Or you know, if they want to gamble and be a real rebel, they vote for an idiot, Trump. All the while, there's actually a party that actually has some integrity, the Green Party, right? With Jill Stein and Butch Ware, right? So if I even care to go and vote, which I'm still undecided, because I don't really care. I'm really very indifferent to it. I would absolutely be, if I had to, I would go in there. I'd definitely vote for Jill Stein. You know what I mean? Definitely. But yeah, see, wisdom from the earth. You're laughing though, but you know they might give you the bag though. You know what I mean? And you got the bars though. You might have to come up with some bars. You know what I mean? Well, while you don't and we voting. You know what I mean? Don't sit in the sideline scoping, right? You got to say some, you know, bars. Give good bars. You know what I mean? Sell out bars. You know what I mean? Give me some sellout bars. You might be the one that is called upon to write a rap, a ghost rap, a ghost written rap. You know, for rappers. You know what I mean? You know, get it in there. Rap the boat. You know what I mean? You know, you want to fun. You know, now that we're on this thing, you know what I mean? All lubricant and other things aside, who's the one that really made rap the vote a popular thing? By the way, right? 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 The devil comes. Right? Yeah, yeah, great. Yeah, definitely. Diddy is an example of power without refinement, though. You know what I mean? He had power. You know what I mean? You know. You know what's funny is that I don't want to hear anything from anybody because people don't understand. In 1994, 95, 96, 97, the majority of the hood openly was not listening to Wu Tang. They played some Wu Tang. They played dope stuff. It would end up in the mix. Nas, Illmatic in the mix. But when you walk the streets, Pelon, Medina, what you were guaranteed to hear almost every day, 94, 95, every day. Summer 94, every day, summer 95. Listen, radio and everything, you'll hear Tikal songs, right? You hear other hits, great. You hear maybe some Black Moon, right? You hear stuff, Mobb Deep. But everywhere you went, what was repeatedly obsessive with was bad boy songs. And I remember I was ostracized by media I was in, media I was not in, hoods that I went to, right? Including Medina, right? Because Medina is always tough, right? But I was in Flatbush and they was all Biggie could do no wrong with this thing. I said, yo, he just did some wrong right here. You know what I mean? And So a lot of people that they're looking at their lives and like, yo, I was listening to the wrong music. I was listening to the fake rappers. I was listening to the dope MCs like Biggie that were being led by the fake. You know what I mean? No matter how much we do it, and this is what I was saying, right? Right? Peace, Clemente. Wisdom Infinite. You said now, Cypher. They're not gonna want to call on me. They're not gonna like what I have to say or the things I've said. You know, hit them on boss. Yeah. So you got to make one now. You got to make the no go on the vote. You know what I mean? No go on the vote. You know what? More so than any time, though, people are really enjoy picking sides. They continue to be with the bad guy. I see some of the gods that I know, and they're picking Trump, or they're like, yo, I'm going for a black woman, though, this and that. And I'm like, yo, it ain't even about that. The biggest policies that were really against us was, for example, the vaccine mandate. But that had nothing to do with race, though. People tried to make it about race, though. Even, I'll admit, even Jill Stein makes it about race, though, when she says we couldn't get vaccines to all the poor and the minority communities. It was a poison. Eventually, all the poor communities is going to get that poison. It was about making us do things and making a mandate about our health, controlling our bodies. You know what I mean? And if Biden and Kamala had this mandate, making you take something, a shot, demanding you take a shot. Now, I'll give you an example. I was cut off last time, right? And I'll say this real quick because we got to set up for the other podcast I'm going to be on. Let's Get Activated podcast. When you see the commercial for Sky Rizzy, this is this drug that's always, because it sounds like Sky Zoo. Sky Rizzy, that drug, the disclaimer they say is if you're about to take vaccines, make sure that you do not take this, or talk to your doctor about taking vaccines if you've taken Sky Rizzy, or if you've taken vaccines, talk to your doctor about taking Sky Rizzy. People on medication can't always take a vaccine often. And yet when this was like, you get banned from work, get banned from society, because that's what it was. I know, because I was banned from a lot of things and I lost lots of jobs. You got to take it or not. And if you have a reason that you may not take it, we don't care. We don't care about religious, spiritual exemptions, right? Because I had those two. We was right before the gods. I help people get them in other places. And at the same time, they were denying people access to things, you know what I mean? That anybody else would get access to. Now, that's controlling of our body, though. Now, because she's a woman, you think that that same administration and corporate honchos that are backing her, right? The billions behind her, they're going to let that swerve, and then she's going to save abortions or women's reproductive rights or right? While they deal with their children and things like that, not be over monitored and make the decisions that they don't agree with. You think that she's the one, because she's a woman, that she's going to actually do that? That's foolish, though, because she's still holding, along with Biden, the smoking gun of controlling our bodies the way we saw not to be fit. We were saying our bodies, our choice when it came to shot. Now with women going, my body, my rights, they're gonna help with that. They just showed that they don't, and they won't, and that they can't, and that they wouldn't, and they damn sure are not making money by helping that, but by continuing that. So people keep giving me reasons why that they are flipping to a side, but it's just mystery God hopes. If you're picking Trump or Kamala and you got knowledge of self, you're dealing with a mystery God. I will tell you flat out, you were dealing with a mystery God, and you need to stop. Okay? That's my end of that, though. But right, I'm going to be on Same, Peace of the Earth Same. I'm going to be on her podcast, Let's Get Activated. Up in this chat, I put the link. So when I leave here, I'll be there at 7. You know what I'm saying? It takes a while to get ready. You know what I mean? Get everything charged up and stuff. So I didn't, I didn't want to say I'll be here till 7, but indeed they are 10%. Yeah. Yeah, one tells us what we think we want to hear. The other divides and conquers with fear. In actuality, right? The thing that makes Trump so engaging is that he tells people what they want to hear. Like, and that's why I think RFK, who's done some really good things with Children's Defense Fund. The book about Fauci was official, right? But his stance on Israel is completely devilish. So, even though he's the only one to admit the truth of why they do that, because the devils need a stronghold, white stronghold, the only white stronghold in Africa, that whole area, the Middle East and Africa as well, right? Right? Because the U.S. is about having bases everywhere. But when he leaves the corrupt Democratic Party to go to the Republican Party, go with Trump, it's act like he's doing something dope. Like you just went from you know um one devil to the other, Cobra to the Decepticons. It's just different villains. You know what I'm saying? Right? He just went from Cobra to fucking Mumra. You know what I mean? I feel like Trump is more of a Mumra, not really Decepticons. He's more of a Mumra. You know what I mean? But if you know your Thundercats, you know what I mean? But but yeah, that's what it is. You know what I mean? That's what it is. But yeah, let me see if I get that link again. That way, if you're not scrolling, I will be here in just by 7 o'clock. It'll start, and I will be here. You know what I mean? Let's Get Activated podcast. You know what I mean? And she really interviews a lot of people and is really on the ball. And the thing about great journalism and music is that the music journalist that really digs doesn't always interview artists that you like every single week. And that's what people, when they deal with more pop radio, they'll be more successful. You know what I'm saying? Right? But with the, with real good music journalism, you're often interviewing someone that nobody knows who they are, and it's your job to share with them how great that this person is. You know what I mean? Or how great this person is that how you see it. You know what I mean? Right? Peace to the God Malik Allah, right? Willing that you feeling great. Subscriber 10304, right? Look at that. Are you in Killer Hills 10304? Because I reside in Pillow Hills 10305. I'm literally like right there, but it's not rugged. But I pass through Shaolin every day when I go outside. You know what I mean? Right? But all right. So what we know in finality is that Wisdom Infinite Earth, right, known as Backward Sweetie, is not going to do a rap the vote. So who's going to help LL? You know what I mean? Who's going to help LL? But I guarantee you, look, watch. Like I said, our main teaching, most basic teaching is that we do for ourselves. There's no mystery, God. So go look for him when you see all this Christmas stuff, Thanksgiving stuff, rap the vote. Because honestly, if this is all mystery God stuff, who's the next president is all mystery God stuff. Excellent. That makes my day that my brother's feeling better. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm about to let everybody go. It is 15 minutes to 7. I'm going to be on the Let's Get Activated podcast talking about my book, The Zen of Us, you know what I mean? And the album. A lot of people haven't, and I'm just telling you now, if you buy the book from me at Sunez.bandcamp, the album, the digital album is free. But so anyway, this is a heavy martial work, for the mentality, for the martial mindset, creatively written. It's powerful stuff. You know what I mean? I put my heaviest stuff in there. You know what I mean? But I'll be right here, same space, just different channel. You know what I'm saying? Different YouTube channel. So I'll be right here at Allah School in Mecca. In just 15 minutes, I'll be on Let's Get Activated. You know what I mean? I appreciate you, King Me. That means a lot to me. That means a lot to me. And again, everything I'm sharing here is more useful. The more questions, the more insights, the more things that you share. Okay, and I try to bring things that will be useful to you when the questions aren't there. You know what I mean? As I hope I did. But until next week, or until next 15 minutes, and you go on Let's Get Activated podcast. I'll be right there. All right. Peace.